up on that one. Elimination started out promising this year, and it proved entertaining up until the final week or so. The first team to go, Revengers, was pretty much taken out because of Dude and TMB being so vocally involved. Once it was known that the trolls were on the team and that TMB was claiming leadership, people started bailing left and right. Once the competition actually started, they became the primary target for most teams and were removed quickly. There was, of course, the usual alliance backstabbing, which created a bit of drama here and there, but the best drama came from the keyboard warriors and their illegal script that allowed them to view other teams' chats. This was an interesting situation because even though the script was deemed illegal, only the person that created the script was punished. The team was allowed to continue even though they benefited from the use of said script. Princess Julie, a staff member, was in Keyboard Warriors leadership and admitted that the script felt wrong but that they continued to use it anyway. The team ended up finishing third in the competition. Lumberjacks and Keyboard Warriors ended up betraying the alliance they had with Field Mice in an effort by Lumberjacks to weed out the team and actually threaten their position as number one. From my understanding, they made a deal with Keyboard Warriors and Breakfast Club that if they helped get Field Mice out of the way, the Keyboard Warriors could have second place and the Breakfast Club could have third. Although it worked out for Lumberjacks because once Field Mice were gone, they pretty much had an easy win, it was pretty boring for the rest of us. It would have been nice to see some competition at the end there. I had been streaming the entire competition on Twitch, which was a lot of fun, but I didn't even bother streaming at the end because it was so obvious that Lumberjacks were going to win. All right. Oh, this was kind of fun. This is really old. It actually goes back to kind of the insurgency stuff. But when I went back to Torn, I think it was after I had the baby, I was asking if somebody could sum up the insurgency drama. And Nadbash sent me this fun little summary. He says, "Here's some news for you. Over the last several months, the attention of the citizens of Torn City has been directed at its fabled Isle of Fail, where Torn United anuses and the Teenage Mutant Ninja douchebags have been playing a non-stop game of grab ass. This war, aside from making billionaires out of the city's revivers, has done little for each side, except in Relentless's case, where their lily-white buttocks were exposed to the world and handed them onto a radioactive cesium platter by ED and his trusty Mayhem Boys. Speaking of the Mayhem Boys, while both alliances have been duking it out over an insignificant island of polluted, shit-smeared garbage that nobody cares about, our lovely band of chaos-loving, lavish vegan ne'er-do-wells have been busying themselves demonstrating to their girlfriends of both sides of combatants to the benefits of eating a fully vegan diet. Wink, wink. What does the future hold for Ton and Insurgency? Probably not very much, except a few months of scrambling to recoup massive financial losses. However, one thing is for sure, this will go down history as one of the largest, most flamboyant displays of impotent flailing known to mankind. If TUN and Insurgency were capable of shame, I'd suggest that they should be ashamed of this most ridiculous carnival of limp dickedness that they have so enthusiastically put on. As they are not, I can only hope that in the aftermath, the remainder of the player base can pick up the pieces and continue on their daily lives. Also, Relentless can suck it. They're a bunch of horse buggering spank dumpsters." Thank you, Nadbash. That was beautiful. Beautifully written. In faction news, the D-Angels split from DA. They're now known as 89, which is their faction number. They claim to be the second oldest faction in Torn, which is a pretty cool distinction. Let's see. As most people are aware by now, Champion has hung up his troll hat and once again joined the ranks of what Karma Cop would call normie Torn players. Champ, Mug, and Boo started the faction Psychos a while back after Champ sold his beloved Real SA. Eventually, they decided to purchase the faction formerly known as Calculating and quickly realized that they had inherited a heap of drama. The main members of the faction they purchased had been scammed to the tune of $80 billion. Yes, that's 80 billion with a B. From what I understand, a good chunk of the money has been paid back to the members, but there's still quite an outstanding bill. The faction is now known as Unleashed and was one of the factions to have a dirty bomb dropped on it during the Horsegate temper tantrums. Dude and the lovely Lily Pink had a falling out and TRT was sold. Dude has since purchased a new faction, which he's named the Redeem Team, and Lily is leading one called Undecided with BCM16, which is currently being rated by, at the time that I wrote this is what was going on. I guess it's possibly not right now, but it was being rated by, Lily's faction was being rated by Dude's faction. And then Kristen, formerly Wild Irish Bitch, is leading a new faction called Mental Disorder, which was then rating TRT at the time that I wrote this. It all seems pretty contrived, but they seem to be enjoying this little circle jerk of drama they all have going on. TMB was raided somewhere in there, but they managed to win the raid and end it successfully. Let's see. At the time that I wrote this, Dude and ED had recently tied the knot, hopefully ending both of their terrible marriage records. Nena and Champion finally got married somewhere in the time between when I made my last news broadcast and now. Edie's ex-spouse, Princess Julie, is now happily wed to Andy Man of JFK, although I didn't check and see if they still are as of now. That was about a month ago, and you know how torn things go. I don't have this written, but Hemi and Therapy Needed tied the knot a while back. Congratulations on that, you guys. I'm glad you guys made up. And Nova was somewhere in all of Edie's marriage mess. He used to be primarily known for poaching players to his faction, but is now pretty much known for destroying factions, his impressive hands and his washboard abs, and being a buffoon. Torn goals. Sexy Sugar Kong has continued his obsession with Dude, following him around on the forums and in global with accusations that would normally get a player banned for harassment, but pretty sure nobody's paying any attention to him anyway, so my only guess as to why that's my only guess as to why he's able to keep going. At this point, it's pretty embarrassing to watch, though. Matthew changed his name back to Beej, which is a welcome change. Accurate is now a restart named Blindfold, and Wild Irish Bitch is now Kristen, like I mentioned earlier. I wanted to take a minute to talk about a graphic designer in Torn named Drizella. I very rarely buy graphics, but I can't resist her style. If you haven't checked her out, you really need to ASAP. She does the cutest pictures, and they're very reasonably priced for what you get. She is a bit busy, though, so you might have to wait patiently for her to get to your order, which is really hard when you're really excited. I've spent way too much money on my Drizella graphics, but way worth it. 10 out of 10 would buy again. Moving on to some scandals. 39th Street Healers was involved in a scandal. This says not too long ago, but it was quite a while ago, where their former leaders refused to return money that was left in the faction bank to a former member named Ashley with 2 Y's, not Ashley with an I, who was inactive for a long period of time. This isn't something that's unheard of in Torn, but it was a much larger sum of money than the usual 10 to 100 million that's left behind. The money was around $2 billion and was recovered by 39th Maine's leader, Tyler. Although the scandal caused a bit of a dumpster fire, the flame was quickly put out by his diplomatic posts, but then reignited after posts made by the other leadership, seemingly mocking the situation. Eventually, things died down after MS Gamer and Red Rum were removed from leadership for being involved in the scam, although, interestingly, it looks like Red Rum has been reinstated now that things have died down. Isn't that the Torn way, though? This game has such a short memory. Regal Johnston of Regal Bank is still maintaining character in his banking scam. I do have to give it to the guy. He's hardcore into this whole bank thing, and at this point, it's actually pretty amusing to read. He's not nearly as active as he was in the beginning, but he's still sprinkling the forums with reports on how his bank is doing. Pretty sure he reported in one of the posts that he's had over $3 billion in investments so far. No doubt members of the former calculating faction eager to earn back the money that was taken from them by the boss, Hotshot, Dave, and Uncle. Wow, this is going pretty far back. The Mr. and Mrs. Torn or Ms. Torn competition didn't fail in creating a bit of drama this year. One of the bigger scandals of the competition was Severisa's original submission, where she was standing almost naked in front of a mirror, earning her the name of That Naked Girl. A thread was created on the forums by Dominic V complaining about her being naked, in which part led to her taking down the picture, which a lot of people were pretty sad about. It may not be accessible on Torn anymore, but I'm pretty sure that image will forever live in most of the male population of Torn's mind. Rogue Submarine won the Miss Torn side of the competition with her classy and classical photo in a torn shirt, which was actually torn. Our community manager, Bogey, won the Mr. Torn side of the competition with a well-thought-out picture involving his new baby and a dirty bomb play on words. There's no doubt in my mind that Bogey deserved to win the competition, but as it was brought up in the forums, it's a bit questionable whether or not a paid employee should be eligible to win a competition. There are quite a few things that are questionable about Bogey and the position he currently holds, and this one was just one of many. On to the band hammer, which I'm not going to put my fun little picture and noise in because I don't have my old Mac anymore. I had to turn it in when I quit my job, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to edit on this computer. So we're not going to get any fun little titles or anything either. Maybe eventually I'll start earning money with my ASMR videos and I can purchase a Mac and do editing. Well, I can dream at least, right? It's never going to happen. Anyway, okay. Let's see. Banhammer. Multi-troll account Ichigo271 was quickly feted after it managed to gain a 93 trillion net worth. Mighty Goober was fed for abusing insider information. He was stripped of his committee member role and sentenced to a temporary feting. Right before his feting, he tried to start a Big Brother event where people had to pay a lot of money to join. Maybe not the best timing for something like that. ED, Cardi, and Apples were chat banned a while back for talking about claims that another player was involved in real-life illegal activity, with Apples being permanently chat banned, pretty sure for harassment, if you can believe it. I personally was shocked. Deck was wrongfully feted, but also temporarily was rightfully forum banned. Somehow he was put into Fed twice, seemingly for events that happened outside the game on Discord. And both times I was extremely disappointed that the sentences were not legit. I'm sure he's done plenty to deserve a fetting, but he somehow manages to slime ball his way out of it every time. Nash, not Alex Nash, is in Fed. Twisty was in Fed, and not for the first time. He was in annoying Mary's faction this time when he was feted, and there was a whole thread on how Mary wasn't going to kick him, but then was convinced to by the end. Cold Shot and PT Calculated is rumored to be none other than Chibs' restart account. Chibs was perma chat banned and then feted earlier in the year. Ultra Rain and Lone Star have been mostly inactive, not really a ban type of thing. I just noticed that they weren't playing a whole lot anymore. It's Sahid was feted again, but this time for flaming and not for his brother playing on the same IP. I believe it was making fun of Sexy Sugar Kong's appearance. Kayla was destaffed among a huge controversy. Due to the sensitive nature of the issue, I'm not going to go in a lot of detail on this one. It's hard to have an opinion on what happened in the situation without having seen all of the evidence that was discussed. I can kind of see both sides of the situation, and it was a sticky place to be in, for real. A player by the name of Make Way was feted for Maltese, ironically shortly after posting Fed the Main in a thread about a Maltese account that had won the jackpot. And Champion posted this joke. It said, Torn staff is saying, make way for the latest prisoner. And Captain Clitoris is saying, who is it? And Torn staff says, make way. Captain Clitoris, I did already, but who is it? Torn staff, make way. Captain Clitoris, is this some sort of duplication joke? Boom. Bitch Pudding, now known as Beepers, and in THC was feted for 7 days for Maltese. Oh my gosh, I'm never going to pronounce this name. Ikazukiruru, Ikazuchiryu of Tornado was feted briefly for account sharing. And I guess that's pretty close to about all I have. I have no idea how long this recording is. It's probably super long. I do want to end this with a fun quote from Spork Monkey that I have saved from a long time ago. It says, you just got to be involved in the forums. There are 4 types of people in Torn. those that hang out in the paradise that is the forums, and those that hang out in the cancer that is global, and those that can do math. Thank you for watching. Keep it classy, Torn.